So you go in at 23. You get out at 48?
I got out at 46.
46. So literally half your life was spent in prison.
Right.
What was that first day out like?
It was I had a lot of emotions going through me, man. You know what I mean? I ain't been in society in 25 years, so it was a lot going on inside me. I was overwhelmed. And then, my city had changed so much that when I got back in the city, my head was on a swivel because I didn't know where I was at. So a lot of things looked different. And I just was happy, man. I was I was happy as shit to be home after all that time,
Well, you get locked up, what was it, 1993?
I got out in 92.
92. And you get out what year?
In 2017.
Okay. So at the time that you went in,
I was 46, my bad. Yeah.
well, but I'm saying from the time that you were locked up, there were no iPhones.
Nah.
There was no World Wide Web. Michael Jackson was still alive and on top of the charts.
Yeah.
Hip hop was still a relatively new thing. You get out and it's a completely different world. Like, what was the hardest thing to adjust to after you got out?
Well, learning to drive again was probably the hardest for me, right? With the phone, I had a lot of practice where I was in because some of these institutions I was in, we was able to get our hands on some of this new technology, right? But the hardest part for me was I was nervous when I got back behind the wheel again.
Okay. One of the things that I hear from guys that have been locked up for a long time, like for example, I interviewed Lil D. He was the crack kingpin of Oakland during the 80s, and he did, I think, like 27 years. And he described how his biggest adjustment was in prison. If you bump into somebody, like, violence has to break out at that point if the person doesn't apologize and doesn't respect you. Whereas he's walking around the streets, people are on their phones bumping into each other and no one says anything. And that was a big adjustment for him.
I go to the airport. And man, when I got to that airport and seen all these people moving around on these cell phones, if you'd have seen the expression on my face, I was in another world, man. Like, I was, the look that was on me was like a person that you just let out of a cave. I mean, that's how long I had been gone. Like, when I seen all these people on their phones with their head down texting and bumping into each other, man, it freaked me out, man. Because it was these people was moving so fast, right? And then in prison, you got to be kind, man. You got to say, excuse me, if you bump into somebody, man. You got to say, excuse me. You gotta, because it's a respect thing. So when I seen you people bumping into each other with their head down and whatnot, it freaked me out. I'm like, man, this is crazy.
Because prison rules don't apply in society.
Right.
What was the hardest thing for you to suddenly put yourself out of a prison mentality and now into a societal mentality?
It was something similar to that. Like, I know how to separate the two. My mind don't work that way. I'm not constantly locked up. I know now that I'm in society and certain things and certain ways that occurred once I was in jail, I can't do that out here. But one of the things that I noticed a lot was and what sparked violence in a matter of seconds, if it happened in prison, was when guys cut the line. So when I'm in certain restaurants or somewhere and the guy cut the line and just walk up to the counter, I'm like, God damn, man, like, don't you see me standing right here? But I had to quickly turn it off and realize that I'm not in jail no more. I'm in the streets, and if I do something to this man, I'm going back to prison. So that was one of the things for me that I had to, like, quickly separate the two. I had to know that I can't yoke this motherfucker up by the back of his collar and slam his head against the counter, or, you know what I mean, slam him on his neck. Out here, I couldn't do it. So I just go ahead, man, go ahead. You know what I mean? What I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to buy is obviously not as important as what you trying to get. So go ahead and get your shit, man, get out the way. So that's how I started current.
Well, another thing that I also heard from guys like Lil D and Freeway Ricky is that when they went in, they had a bunch of money, a bunch of property, jewelry, whatever else, and they left that with their close friends and family and so forth. And by the time they got out, all that was gone.
Right.
Same situation with you?
Yeah, pretty much. You know what I mean? I had, like I said, I had a pretty big defense attorney tag, and you know, over the course of 25 years, I didn't call home to ask nobody to send me nothing. I didn't have to, you know what I mean? And I had 2 kids at the time, so a lot of the money that I did have, I was able to save up, was spent on taking care of my kids and making sure I don't want nothing in prison too, and making sure that my appeal lawyers is paid. You know what I mean? My people could get to me whenever they wanted to get to me. They can get on a plane, come see me wherever I'm at in the country. So yeah, a lot of the money that I had accumulated and saved up was it started dwindling quick. It started evaporating real fast.